What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Power Gamers Tactics Room. I'm your host, Bill Braun Bafflestone. So today we're having another episode of my Metagaming series, where I look at Dungeons & Dragons from a more holistic perspective. And today I wanted to talk about what went through my mind and what sort of analytical process I went through when I first looked at the Player's Handbook for 5th Edition about a year and a half ago in preparation for creating a character to join a new campaign. And I should mention that this is an impromptu video. I've been putting out D&D videos every other day, and this is supposed to be my day off where I get to work on my nihilism video for my philosophy channel, The Heroic Ethic. Check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. The link is in the description below. But I just got off the phone with a good friend of mine, Francesco, with whom I have played most of my games over the last 10 years. And it just got me to thinking about how I approached the Player's Handbook for the first time. Because he is a real hardcore gamer and belongs to this Game of the Month club. So we're constantly playing new games and looking at new rule sets and analyzing them for and making new characters. And when I do that, I'm always looking for ways to break the game. That's just how I like to roll. And I should preface this by saying that I am well acquainted with many game systems before this as well. I was in the Navy 33 years ago during the Desert Storm years. And when you are working 6 on, 6 off on a Spruance class destroyer, you got a lot of time on your hands to play games and such. And we didn't just play video games. We also loved that whole school of games like, Axis and Allies and Fortress America and all of that. But we played a bajillion role-playing games as well, not just D&D, but games like superhero games were a favorite, Champions, DC, Marvel, GURPS. We loved Star Wars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, tons and tons of games. And then also with Francesco, I've been playing tons and tons of games. And so I always look to try and break the game. Usually with these Game of the Month things, I'm just okay, so these are the rules? Okay, I'm going to make a guy like this and then win in round 1 or 2. Okay, that's usually how it goes. And Dungeons & Dragons obviously is a little bit different because it's such a hugely, well thought out game. So much, bigger, and the rules are really well balanced. 5th edition is very well balanced. But as I read through it, and I should mention that I use, when I'm doing this sort of thing, a type of Bayesian analysis as I'm reading through, because there's just too much information to do the preferred sort of analysis where you're literally breaking down every single thing and understand how it all works together. I mean, that's just impossible for a human being. So rather, I use a Bayesian sort of analysis when I'm breaking down a game and trying to figure out how to break it. And what that entails is basically a constant ranking of abilities as you go through the book. And as you go along, you start to get one that is clearly better than the others. And so it doesn't take all that long to analyze, like the martial stuff. You don't have to really look at that too long if you're trying to break the game. So you can, as you go along, at the end of it, have a ranking where you've got the strategy that breaks the game on top. Sometimes it's very egregious, like with these games that are not as well thought out as Dungeons & Dragons. But I've always thought there's no game that you can't break, and Dungeons & Dragons is no different. So as I was looking through the Player's Handbook, and also, being a D&D veteran, I also understood that wizards set the standard. Nobody else can catch up to wizards. Other spellcaster classes can try, but they just don't have the utility of wizards. Over 1,000 battles, wizards are the best. But still, I looked at all the other classes too. You never know. And 5e is very well balanced. Really nerfed wizards hard, man. This concentration stuff, and the spells are really bad. But anyway, as I was going through, it just kind of became clear to me at the end of it, Okay, so it seems to me like the class that breaks this game is a wizard that can hide and create heavy obscurement and has the alert feat and leverages summons. That seems to be like the ultimate build, right? Nobody can beat that. Can't find you, can't hit you. You're crushing them with summons. I mean, there you go. And a year and a half later, as I've gotten to know the game a lot better, especially since I started this channel, I don't see that I got anything wrong. I can see how to optimize it better. If I had to build Bill Braun Bafflestone again, he would be more optimized for this. I might add him, make him a goblin to add that juicy bonus action hide. And I've also learned the power of kitting a character to offload concentration and have things like spell gems and a shield guardian and arcane abeyance and rings of spell storing and all of that to greatly force multiply your abilities. But there are still ways to do it without that stuff. And I still don't see what is stronger than a hide wizard that leverages obscurement and summons. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I wrong? And do you have any different approaches to, analyzing games, breaking games? I'd be very curious to hear your comments and start a discussion about all of that, because I really do love this whole philosophical aspect of the game. Regardless, thank you so much for watching. This has been the Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Power Gamers Tactics Room. I'm your host, Bill Braun Bafflestone. See you next time.